Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you my favorite love story. So this is in preparation for Valentine's Day, and I was thinking of maybe doing like a favorite romance books, but I don't really read romance books. So these are my like kind of twist on Valentine's Day. So this is like favorite love stories. So this is not necessarily between like the traditional like falling in love with someone. These could be like love stories between friends, between someone and the earth. Like I was going into kind of, I broaden it because there's many different types of love. It's a love, and I wanted to kind of showcase this in here with some of the books that I chose. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. This is a book that deals with friendship, and this is like the perfect embodiment of just having that best friend and that the love you share with them, with someone who's like grown up with you. And so this is Firefly of William by Kristin. I read this several years ago, but nevertheless it still has had a big impact on me, even though I've read it maybe 5 years ago. But basically it shows the friendship between Kate and Tully over the course of 3 decades. And what I really like about this is that it shows the ups and downs of their friendship over the years, how they change, how they adjust to, you know, starting out in university, becoming mothers. Like, how does that change their friendship? But I really love how it shows that, you know, despite all this, like despite their arguments, they still love each other at the end. And I think that's what makes this book so universal, because there's aspects in here that everyone can relate to. Everyone has that friend that's been there for them their whole lives. And so I think this really showcases the love that people have for their friends and how much of an impact that has on our lives. So definitely this one is a tearjerker, and I think they're making this a movie now. I saw on Instagram, so I'm curious to see how this plays out on the screen, but nevertheless I'm still a big fan of the love story of their friendship. So this is a unique one because I feel like it is a love story between a girl and like Mother Earth, and it is Where the Crawdad Sings by Delia Owens. This is one that I read recently, and although it didn't live up to the hype of the book and I felt a little bit underwhelmed, I still really enjoyed the relationship that this main character had with like Mother Nature and all of that. Like, her world is basically her, like, what she knows about biology, like what is she's learned about shells, the fish that swim like in the ocean near her. Like, and I really love that, because although she does have relationships with other people, this is her most meaningful connection and like relationship, and her biggest love story is between her and her environment. And I really loved that aspect of this book, and I think it's really interesting looking at it from like this perspective, because it is a love story, just not in the traditional sense, and I really loved how that author kind of integrated that into here. So it was very interesting. Like I said, even though I was underwhelmed, I still think that was the highlight of this book for me. So it's a little bit different, but I still felt it was worthwhile to talk about in this video. Next, I have The Clockmakers Daughter by Kate Morton, and this is a book I feel like I haven't talked about a lot recently, but basically this is a love story over the course of kind of flashbacks is basically how it's shown, but it follows a woman who is a ghost in this house, and she is reflecting on the events that led her to become a ghost and kind of haunt this house. But it ties in with this artist and this mysterious woman and like the rumors that surrounded their relationship. But what I really like about this is that you kind of see their, because it's in flashbacks and it's almost like a memoir, you kind of get to see that perspective of the inner workings of their relationship. And I love seeing it grow over the course of this, like her flashbacks leading up to ultimately her death and how that happened. It's very interesting. It's very heartbreaking, obviously, because she is dead, but it was just the way she tackled it as being a ghost and she's like reflecting on her life, I thought was really interesting. You know, you get hindsight is 2020, and it's interesting seeing her reflect on this knowing what she knows now and how things turned out, but I thought it was just really interesting that way she told it. So definitely it's a heartbreaking romance, but nevertheless I still really enjoyed it, and I love the historical aspect in here mixed in with the mystery. So yeah, this is a very unique read and I loved it. Next, this is like an untraditional one as well, and it is The Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden. This book in particular I think really showcases the kind of the tension, I guess, between these two characters, between the main character and then the Nightingale. I think it's really interesting too because the Nightingale gets to see Vasilia, I think that's how you pronounce her name, grow up over the course of the first novel and then kind of into the second one as well. But you kind of get to see their relationship really take a forefront in here and like what they mean to each other, but they don't really say. It's a little irritating, but I really love their banter. They have a very complex relationship, but I really like how it's kind of highlighted in here. And then if you add in like the Russian wilderness setting in here, I think it makes it a really unique read. I definitely really love this trilogy. It's near and dear to my heart. I read it at a point in my life where it was like my escape earlier in 2019, but like I said, nevertheless, I really enjoyed this. It was just an interesting read, especially seeing the dynamics and how their banter and like seeing the course of their relationship change from the first book into here and how they become equals. I think it's very interesting, and how the author kind of tackled that over the course of the 3 books I think is really interesting. And just you know, how they grow to love each other I think is just really fun to watch. And lastly, I have Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This is more of the traditional kind of love stories in the sense, but this one is kind of love. They kind of start out hating each other and then they grow to really love and care about each other, and I really love those kind of stories where they just like banter all the time, but you know, deep inside they have like feelings for each other. I really liked that, and seeing it grow over the course of this novel. It's because they're on different sides of this kind of feud as well, so it's very Romeo and Juliet-esque, even though I'm not a big Romeo and Juliet fan, but it's kind of like that. They're on different sides of basically this political war, and they have to kind of work together. They're enemies in the beginning, but then they end up falling in love. So I really loved kind of seeing that progress over the course of the novel. Did I feel like it was a little bit too fast, them falling in love? A little bit, but you know, I can't really complain too much. But yeah, I really like this, and I really loved seeing their kind of relationship change over the second one as well. I feel like the second one is where things kind of mature out a little bit. It gets a little hot and heavy a little too quickly for my liking, but nevertheless, I'm still really for this relationship, and it's probably one of my favorite in this like world that Mary E. Pearson has created, so I can't complain. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite love stories are and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.